some part of this course in the last semester quickly because we didn't have any time. So in this course, we try to read this subject more elaborately, in more detail, and we are going to in more depth. So this course actually focus on how we can in quantum domain we are getting some advantage that is called quantum advantage or quantum supremacy. What is quantum supremacy or quantum advantage? In quantum domain we can do something better which we cannot do in classical domain, in classical domain of classical computation. In using quantum thing we can speed up some problem. We can we can get speed in computational domain, and using that we can solve many things. And most importantly, Shor algorithm, we will read that. Shor algorithm showed that discrete log problem and factorization problem, which are believed to be hard in classical domain, and the classical crypto system, public key crypto system, actually mainly designed on this the hardness of factorization and discrete log problem. But in quantum domain, we can solve this problem efficiently. So if quantum computers come, which is still elusive, we have some noisy quantum computers, but if quantum computers come, and we are hoping that within 5 or 10 years we can have fault-tolerant quantum computer, then these crypto systems, classical crypto system, public key infrastructure, the security of this public key infrastructure will be compromised. And that is why we have to shift from classical domain to post-quantum domain. There are some classical crypto systems which are believed to be resistant against quantum adversary. Who is quantum adversary? Quantum adversary, we assume that quantum adversary has unbounded power of computation. So there are some classical algorithms, basically code-based and lattice-based systems, which are there is no proof, but we believe that those crypto systems are unbreakable in quantum domain. And generally, by post-quantum cryptography, generally we mean that classical crypto system, that classical public key crypto systems. Another avenue is quantum cryptography. So in this course, we will try to understand what is quantum cryptography, how in classical domain, for today's crypto system, security comes from the hardness of some mathematical problems such as factorization, discrete log problem. So in this course, we will try to find how we get security in quantum domain. In quantum cryptography, how we get the security. And also we will see that why Shor algorithm solves that factorization problem very efficiently. What is the reason? Why we can get the speed up in quantum domain? What is the reason? So all these things we will explore in this course. Okay, now we start screen sharing. So how we can do that screen sharing? Actually, share. Okay. বিভাস একটু হেল্প করো তো আমাকে যে কিভাবে এবার আমি স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করব। ওরা ইয়েটা পাল্টেছে সেটআপটা।
ম্যাম আপনি ওয়েবএক্স এর ওখানে যান, ওই ওয়েবএক্সটা রিটার্ন টু মিটিং করুন।
রিটার্ন টু মিটিং
করলাম। হ্যাঁ, কিন্তু রিটার্ন টু মিটিং করলে কি হবে? আচ্ছা, রিটার্ন টু মিটিং করলাম।
মিটিং এর স্ক্রিনটা হ্যাঁ
কিন্তু আমি অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমি তোমার ইয়েতে যাব, ইউএসবি পোর্টে যাব, আমি ফাইল প্রেজেন্টেশন শেয়ার করব, তাহলে
তাহলে ম্যাম দিস পিসিতে যান।
দিস পিসি।
হুম। আপনার ইউএসবিটা কোনটায় আছে?
নিউ
হ্যাঁ।
ভলিউম।
এটা কি ইউএসবিটা?
হ্যাঁ, এটা ইউটিসিটি কোর্স। হ্যাঁ, ক্লাস 1টা কোথায়? সাইমন স্পেক টিসিজি ক্লাস 1।
ক্রিপ্টো এইচ দিয়ে খুলুন ম্যাম, অসুবিধা নেই।
খুলবো এটা দিয়ে?
হ্যাঁ, এইচ দিয়ে খুলতে পারেন, অসুবিধা নেই।
এবার ফুল স্ক্রিন। হ্যাঁ,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ,
ফুল স্ক্রিন কোথায় দেখাচ্ছে না তো কোথাও?
আপনি এই রিস্টোর পেজেসটা বন্ধ করে দিন, ওই ট্যাবটাকে ডান দিকে যেটা আছে রিস্টোর পেজেস লেখা আছে, তাহলে হয়তো দেখাবে ওখানে। হ্যাঁ, এখানে দেখুন একবার। না, এখানে নেই।
হ্যাঁ, টেনে বড় করা যাচ্ছে। ওকে,
আপনার ট্যাবটা তো মনে হয় ছোট হয়ে আছে ম্যাম, ওটা তো বড় করা যাবে নাকি? মানে মিনিমাইজ মানে
দেখো এটাকে এই যে বড় টেনে বড় করতে হচ্ছে, দেখতে পাচ্ছ এবার?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, সে দেখতে পাচ্ছি। আমি বলছি আপনি একদম উপরে যে ক্রসটা আছে রাইট হ্যান্ড মোস্ট সাইডে, রাইট মোস্ট একদম
হ্যাঁ।
আপনার তার পাশে যে বক্স দুটো আছে ওটাতে ক্লিক করলে কি মিনিমাইজ হয়ে যাবে?
দেখছি,
একটু click
দাঁড়াও।
করুন। হ্যাঁ, ছোট হয়ে যাচ্ছে না? ও না না, ঠিক আছে ম্যাম, এই বড় করে দিন। এটা কি স্লাইড শো করা যাওয়া উচিত?
ওরা সেটিংসটা চেঞ্জ করেছে, যার জন্য।
ম্যাম একবার F11 দেখুন না, হয় নাকি?
হ্যাঁ, কোনটায় বলো?
F11।
না, এই যে বোধহয় এটা নেই।
তাহলে তোমরা এটা কেটে আর কি অপশন ছিল?
ওখানে তো আমি দেখলাম না অ্যাডোব আছে বলে।
হ্যাঁ, তো মনে হয় না।
আরেকটা কাজ ম্যাম করবেন কি, আপনার মাইনাস প্লাস তারপরে একটা সাইন আছে, তারপরে ওই সাইনটা একবার ক্লিক করে দেখবেন, মানে ফোর্থ সাইনটা ওখান থেকে।
এটা হ্যাঁ, এবার হচ্ছে না?
ফোর্থ সাইনটা বলছি আমি, মানে
না, এই দেখো মাইনাস প্লাস যে সাইনটা আছে সেটা মাইনাস করলে
হ্যাঁ
পরে
ম্যাম,
ছোট
আমি বলছি
হচ্ছে।
মাইনাস প্লাস তারপরে যে ওইখানে যে ফোর্থ সাইনটা বলছি, ফোর্থ, ওটা বোধহয় ফুল পেজ বা কিছু একটা করছে। এবার আপনি স্ক্রিনটা বড় করে দিন তো ম্যাম, মানে ওই একদম রাইট মোস্ট কর্নারে যে বক্সটাতে ক্লিক করেছিলেন নাকি, ওটাতে একবার ক্লিক করুন, বোধহয় বড় হয়ে যাবে। হ্যাঁ ম্যাম। ও না,
না, ছোট হল। দেখি প্লাসটা ক্লিক করে কি বড় হচ্ছে? দেখো।
ওটা হচ্ছে ম্যাম, এটা হচ্ছে।
ঠিক আছে, তোমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছ তো? আমার কোনো অসুবিধা হচ্ছে না, তোমরা দেখতে পেলেই হলো।
আমরা দেখতে পাই, আমি তো দেখতে পাচ্ছি।
বাকিদের অসুবিধা না হলেই হলো। For other students, this is fine. Is this fine?
Yes, madam. Fine.
Okay. So this is the course title, Quantum Information and Cryptography. Let's start. So we know that the basic model of classical computers initially visualized by Alan Turing, von Neumann, and several other researchers during 1930s. That model, actually the building block of classical computers, we all know that the building block of classical computer is transistor, and the physics that transistor uses is classical physics, Newtonian mechanics. So the model of computers that Turing and von Neumann visualized are limited by classical physics and thus termed as classical computers. Then in 1965, Gordon E. Moore, co-founder of the popular company Intel, he postulated that the number of transistors that can be packed into a given unit of space will double about every 2 years, though the cost of computers will be halved. And he stated that using his experience in designing the computers. This postulate in later time became a law known as Moore's law. But Moore's have no intention to state a law. The law states that we can expect the speed. One minute. The speed and capacity of our computer to increase every capability of our computers to increase every couple of years, and we will pay less for them. In other words, Moore's law asserts that this growth is exponential. In a the space size is fixed, and the number of transistors we will input in that space will be doubled in every 2 years according to Moore's law. So this asserts that this growth is exponential. Interestingly, today the doubling of installed transistors on silicon chips occurs close to every 18 months instead of every 2 years. So instead of 24 months, we can do that in 18 months using today's technology. Gordon Moore did not call his observation as Moore's law, as I pointed earlier, that he has no intention to state a law. He stated this from his own experience. Nor did he set out to create a law. Moore made that statement based on noticing emerging trends in chip manufacturing at Intel. Eventually, Moore's insight became a prediction, which in turn became the golden rule known as Moore's law. Gradually, Moore's law became a driving force of technological and social change, productivity, and economic growth that are hallmarks of the late 20th and 21st centuries. With the subsequent improvements in the material science and semiconductor technologies in late 20th and early 21st centuries, computer hardware has developed into more compact and considerably faster in performing their tasks. However, the computer scientists soon realized that if technology advancement continued to grow following Moore's law, then constantly shrinking the size of integrated circuit onto a silicon chip would eventually reach to a point where individual elements would be no bigger than a few atoms, and this gave rise to gave birth to the idea of quantum computer. Because when we shifted from classical domain to atomic domain, then the classical physics, Newtonian physics won't work. So we have to shift in quantum physics, and that is why, if this is the case, if by shrinking the size of the silicon chip, we will reach in the domain of atomic size, we will reach in the atomic size, then we have to shift from classical physics to quantum physics, and this gave birth to the idea of quantum computer. And as a result, this led to a problem, because at atomic scale, the physical law that govern the behavior and properties of circuits are inherently follows quantum mechanics. This raises the question of whether a new kind of computer could be devised based on the principle of quantum physics. And in 1982, Richard Feynman, he proposed the seminal idea of a universal quantum simulator, or more informally, a quantum computer, which will deal with these atomic things, which we will call quantum particle. Quantum particle obeys quantum laws of quantum physics. A quantum system can be explained by a Hilbert space. What is Hilbert space? A complex vector space with an inner product that satisfies the following properties. We will discuss that. But at that time, in 1982, nobody believed Richard Feynman proposal. Nobody believed that quantum computer can be devised in practice. However, in the state of the art situation, though we don't have large scale fault tolerant commercial quantum computer, fault tolerant means that there won't be any error. When we run the program, we will get the exact result. There will be no error. But large scale fault tolerant commercial computers are still elusive. However, we have these IBM quantum computer, Microsoft quantum computer, Google quantum computer, Rigetti quantum computer, and DOF quantum computer. To access this IBM quantum computer, we have to install some software tool for IBM. This is Quantum Information Toolkit, KISS-Kit. For Microsoft, Quantum Development Kit, QDK. For Google, CIRTU. For Rigetti, Forest Quantum Computing Software. For DOF, Ocean Tools Suite. These IBM, Microsoft, Google, and Rigetti, they are actually quantum computers. They are the actual quantum computers. And DOF, this computer is also quantum computer, but actually IBM, Microsoft, Google, and Rigetti, these are the superconducting quantum computers. And DOF, they use some another methodology called annealing. So using DOF, you cannot solve the problem like Grover or Dois-Josa. TCG students, they know that what is Dois-Josa algorithm. We will discuss in this course also. We will discuss those. But TCG student, they already have some idea about these algorithms. That is why I am telling them. So DOF computer, using DOF computer, you cannot run the program for Grover, for Dois-Josa, Bernstein, Hazirani, even Shor also. But IBM, Microsoft, Google, Rigetti, they are capable of if you use these computers, IBM, Microsoft, Google, Rigetti, you can run those programs in those computers. DOF computer actually is used for some optimization problem. So though DOF offers 2000 qubits quantum computer, but using these 2000 quantum DOF computers, we cannot solve Shor problem. So till now, we cannot. So our classical physics, classical cryptography, till now is safe. We don't have any computer, quantum computer, which can solve our, which can break our today's PKC, public key crypto system. So DOF, though they are offering 2000 qubits quantum computer, but we have no use because we are dealing with cryptographic protocol, but solving some optimization problem, we can use this DOF quantum computer. And for Shor, Grover, Girich-Hazirani, and all others, we can use IBM, Microsoft, Google, Rigetti. In this course, we will focus on this IBM quantum computer. So we will try to write a program, we will try to run a program in IBM quantum computer. And if you are interested, you can try others also, Microsoft, Google, Rigetti also. Now again, back to Hilbert space. So Hilbert space is complex inner product space, and quantum particle can be described by this Hilbert space. The inner product in the last same we didn't discuss this because we have less time. We have to complete our prescribed syllabus. That is why we didn't cover all those. But in this course, we will study very little about Hilbert space. Hilbert space is itself a subject. So if you are interested, you can go through the detail of Hilbert space. But here I only enumerate what we use in case of quantum computation. So this is the inner product space. The inner product is conjugate symmetric, and that is the inner product of a pair of elements is equal to the complex conjugate of the inner product of the swapped elements. So if x and y are two vectors of the Hilbert space H, so x and y are two elements are the vectors of Hilbert space, then the inner product, this is the inner product symbol, inner product between x and y will be equal to the inner product of y and x, and we have to take the complex conjugate of that. So that is why we are saying that inner product of a pair of elements equal to the complex conjugate of the inner product of the swapped element. The inner product is linear in its first argument. That is, for all complex numbers a and b, a x1 plus b x2, x1, x2 are two vectors in the Hilbert space H, and y another vector. Then if we take the inner product of ax1 plus bx2, a and b are complex number, then this will be the case. A x1 inner product between x1 y, and inner product b inner product between x2 and y. The inner product of an element with itself is positive definite. What that means? That means if we take the inner product between the same vectors, same two vectors x and x, then that should be greater than 0. For x not equal to 0, and it will be equal to 0 for x equal to 0. It follows from the properties 1 and 2 that a complex inner product is antilinear, also called conjugate linear, in second argument, meaning that this is two vectors x and ay1 plus by2. y1, y2 are also the vectors in the Hilbert space. Then the inner product of this x and ay1 plus by2 will be a complex conjugate, inner product of x and y1, b complex conjugate, inner product of x and y2. The norm is the real valued function. All these properties we will use in our quantum computation. The norm is the real valued function for any vector x in H. The norm is defined as this. X norm of x will be the inner product of the same vector x and x, and then we will take the root. The distance d between 2 points, two vectors x and y in H is defined in the terms of norm by d, distance between x and y will be the norm of x minus y, and that is equal to x minus y and x minus y, inner product of these two vectors x minus y and x minus y, and then we will take the square root. The distance function d is symmetric in x and y. The distance, so that means y minus x, the distance between y minus x will be equal to the distance between x and y. So this is symmetry. The distance between x and itself is 0, and otherwise the distance between x and y must be positive. For the distance function d, the triangle inequality rule holds. That is, the length of one edge of a triangle xyz cannot exceed the sum of the lengths of the other two edges. So xyz, if the edges of a triangle, x is vector, y is vector, z is vector in the Hilbert space, then this holds. Distance between x and y will be less than equal to distance between x and z plus z and y distance between. Cauchy-Schwarz inequality for all xy belongs to H. The inner product between x and y, if we take the module of the inner product, then that should be less than equal to, that should be less than equal to norm of x and norm of y and their dot product, with equality if and only if x and y are linearly dependent. every Hilbert space has an orthonormal basis. Let X and Y belongs to H, and what is ortho? First we have to understand orthogonality. What is orthogonal vectors? If X and Y are two vectors in Hilbert space H, then if their inner product will be equal to 0, then we will say that X and Y are orthogonal to each other. And if we divide the vector X by its norm, then we will get unit vector. And if we divide Y by its norm, then we will get again unit vector. And if these unit vector are orthogonal to each other, then we will say those are also orthonormal. So more generally, if a subset of H is a set and X belongs to H is orthogonal to A, then we can write X is so X is normal to A if X and Y equal to the inner product of X and Y equal to 0 for all Y belongs to A. And now let us set S, which is also a subset of H, be orthogonal, and further S further satisfies this condition. So mod of X will be equal to 1 for all X belongs to S, then S said to be orthonormal. And this S is called, and using the vectors in S, we can form the basis of H. So let H be a Hilbert space. A basis beta of H is a maximal orthonormal, and this we will choose if beta will be the basis of H, then beta must satisfy the condition that this is the maximum orthonormal subset. So let H be a Hilbert space. A basis beta of H is a maximal orthonormal subset. If beta is a basis, then beta is complete. And if and only beta is a basis, then any vector can be written in terms of the vector which belongs to beta. So U belongs to beta. U is a vector which is the member of beta. Then we can write any vector X which belongs to H in this form. So inner product of U and X and U. So we can express any vector which belongs to H by the vectors which belongs to beta. Again, mod of X will be sum over U belongs to beta, or mod of the mod square of this inner product X and U for all X belongs to H. So these are the some properties we will use for some properties of Hilbert space we will use in our quantum paradigm. The term Hilbert space is often reserved for an infinite dimensional inner product space having the property that is complete or closed. However, the term is often used nowadays, as in this note also, we will also use Hilbert space, assuming that this is a finite dimensional space, which automatically satisfies the condition of completeness. For a finite dimensional Hilbert space, the number of vectors forming the basis is the dimension of H and does not depend on the choice of the basis vectors. So we can actually, we will see that we can actually create infinite number of basis for a finite dimensional Hilbert space. So that the number of bases does not choice on the basis vectors, does not depend on the choice of the basis vectors. Note that the vectors forming the basis must be linearly independent. So the condition to construct a basis is this. This is the basis vectors must be linearly independent. And using these basis vectors, we can construct any vector of the Hilbert space. So this is more or less mm, about Hilbert space, which and these properties will be used in quantum domain. So, any questions up to this? Any questions or any confusion up to this? Am I audible?
Yes, madam. You are audible.
So, any questions or any confusion or anything up to this? Okay, then we will proceed. Now, qubit. This is the first thing in quantum paradigm. What is qubit? We are familiar with bit. In classical computer, we are dealing with bit 0 and 1, and all of we are familiar with this 0 and 1. This is the basic element of classical computer. The quantum counterpart of this 0 is qubit 0, which can be written in this way. And the quantum counterpart of this classical bit 1 is 1, which can be written in this way. And this sign is called Kate sign. This actually represents a column vector. And this sign,
Are you writing something? We can't see.
yes, I am writing something. You are not seeing that?
Cannot be seen.
দেখা যাচ্ছে না
দেখা যাচ্ছে না কেন বল?
No.
এটা কি পিডিএফ এ লেখা হচ্ছে না বলে? মানে এটা পিডিএফ ইয়ে নয় বলে?
অন্য একটা পেপারে ম্যাডাম লিখে নিন না, ওই এ খুলে যেরকম নোটপ্যাড বা কিছুতে লিখতেন।
আচ্ছা, কিন্তু তাহলে সেটা কি করে ইয়ে করবো বলো তো? ইরেজ ড্র, আচ্ছা দেখি এখান থেকে ড্র তো হবে না। এখানে কতগুলো অপশন আছে, হাইলাইটস, ড্র, কিন্তু দিস না।
Ma'am, I think you have to reshare the page where you are writing. You have to stop share this page and reshare that page where you are writing.
But I am writing on this page also, because this okay. So we have to flip whiteboard and this. Okay, so whiteboard. How can I access that now? Whiteboard. এই হোয়াইটবোর্ড কি করে শেয়ার করব এবার?
হোয়াইট বোর্ডটা যেন মিটিং এর পেজে থাকা উচিত।
মিটিং এর পেজে আবার চলে যাব?
হ্যাঁ, মানে ওখানেই তো শেয়ার অপশন থাকে।
সব অপশন থাকে, হ্যাঁ। তো এটাকে নামাই নাকি?
হ্যাঁ, এটাকে আপনি মিনিমাইজ করে দিন তাহলেই হবে, মানে জাস্ট উপর থেকে মিনিমাইজ করে দিন।
কি মিনিমাইজ তো হলো না কিছু।
মানে ওই একদম রাইট পোস্টে যে একটা সিঙ্গেল দাগ আছে ওটা ক্লিক করুন তাহলেই হয়ে যাবে।
ওটাই তো ক্লিক করলাম, মিনিমাইজ দেখাচ্ছে, কিন্তু মিনিমাইজ কিছুই হলো না। তো খোলাই রয়েছে দেখতে পাচ্ছি, তো নিচে নামলো না।
ঠিক আছে, আপনি মিটিং লিংকটাতে ক্লিক, মানে মিটিং এর ওই যে মিটিংটাতে যেতে হবে আর কি। মিটিংটা কোথায় আছে?
এখানে
ওয়েবেক্স, আপনি তলায় একদম তলার যে রোটা ওখানে দেখুন ওই ওয়েবেক্স মিটিং এর সাইনটা আছে,
হ্যাঁ
ওটা খুলুন।
ওকে, এবার এটা তো স্টার্ট অলরেডি হয়ে রয়েছে এখানটা দিন।
এটা এই রিটার্ন টু মিটিং করে দেখুন।
রিটার্ন টু মিটিং তো আমাকে দেখাচ্ছি না।
না উপরে দেখাচ্ছে তো ম্যাম, মানে
কোথায় দেখো? রিটার্ন টু মিটিং।
শিডিউলের পাশে, হ্যাঁ। ক্যামেরাটা ঘুরে আছে উল্টো দিকে ম্যাম।
ক্যামেরা তো কানেক্ট করিনি। এটা স্ক্রিন অন করবো? কোনটা করি? কিছু হয়েছে।
ম্যাম উপরে অ্যানোটের অপশন ছিল তো বোধহয়, ওই শেয়ারিং স্ক্রিন যেখানে লেখা আছে
হ্যাঁ,
ওখানে বোধহয় অ্যানোটের অপশন ছিল, একটু দেখুন।
তারপর কেন?
ম্যাম পেনটা দেখা যাচ্ছে।
এটা
বাবা
না, আমার তো লেখা করতে। আর তাহলে একটু ওয়েট করো। ওয়েট করতে আমি ইয়ে বা হচ্ছে কেন? আমি আইটি কোনো একজনকে ডেকে নিয়ে আসি। না তোমার হোয়াইট বোর্ড অ্যাক্সেস না করা গেলে তো মুশকিল।
ম্যাডাম ম্যাডাম একটা জিনিস জিজ্ঞাসা করছি, তখন মাইকটা কাজ করছিল না, বলছি ওই আপনি বেসিসটা পড়াতে গিয়ে কমপ্লিট বললেন না, ওটা ঠিক কমপ্লিট বলতে কি, বেসিস কমপ্লিট বলতে কি বলতে চাইছেন, মানে পুরো সমস্ত ভেক্টর গুলোকে অ্যাক্সেস করা যাবে এরকম টাইপের?
এখানে কমপ্লিটনেস মানে তুমি বেসিসের ভেক্টর গুলোকে নিয়ে তুমি যে কোনো ভেক্টর হিলবার্ট যে হিলবার্ট
ওকে ওকে, স্পেসে যে কোনো ভেক্টরকে মানে ওটার ফরম্যাটে লেখা যেতে পারে, তাই তো? ওটাকে বেসিসে
মানে স্প্যানের কথা বলা
স্প্যানের
হচ্ছে।
কথা বলা হয়েছে। আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা। আর একটা জিনিস ম্যাডাম, ওটাও যদি আমি শিওর নই, লাস্টে যেটা লিখেছেন না যে নর্ম অফ এক্স যেখানে লিখেছেন, ওটা রুট পড়বে না একটা উপরেতে?
হ্যাঁ, রুট লিখিনি।
রুটটা লিখে, রুটটা মিস হয়ে গেছে। ঠিক আছে, ওটা জাস্ট একটা মিস হয়েছে।
কোথায় বলো তো, কোন জায়গাটায় বলো তো?
একদম এই স্লাইডের নিচের দিকটায়।
এই স্লাইডটার নিচের দিকে তো বেসিসে।
হ্যাঁ এই হ্যাঁ এই যে লাস্ট লাইনটা, ওটা রুট পড়বে, হাইলি পড়বে বোধহয়।
এটা রুট করবে, হ্যাঁ, এটা তোমার স্কোয়ার নিয়ে তার উপরে রুট।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, নর্ম দিয়েছেন, ঠিক আছে।
আচ্ছা, কিন্তু এটা তো আমি তো পেনটাই ইউজ করতে পারছি না, পেন ইউজ না করলে তো মুশকিল।
ঠিক আছে, ওটা ম্যাডাম পরে আপনি পাঠানোর সময় দরকার এডিট করে নেবেন বা নর্মে স্কোয়ার করে দেবেন।
সেটা বলছি না, কিন্তু তোমার আমি তো পেন অ্যাক্সেস না করতে পারলে তো মুশকিল। একটু ওয়েট করো।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে ম্যাডাম।
সো ওয়েট ফর 5 minutes, I will come back.
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম, হ্যাঁ ম্যাম।
এই বিভাস দা, হ্যালো, শোনা যাচ্ছে আমার কথা? হ্যালো হ্যালো,
হ্যাঁ বল সপ্তম।
বলছি এক্ষুনি যে তুই জিজ্ঞেস করলি না কমপ্লিটনেসটা, আমার মনে হয় ওটা ঠিক নয়। কারণ যেটা বললি যে পুরো স্প্যানটাকে অ্যাক্সেস করা যাবে, মানে ওটা স্প্যানিং
হ্যাঁ
একটা সাব, মানে ভেক্টর কি বলে, সাবসেট, একটা ভেক্টর একটা, ওটা স্প্যান করবে পুরো ভেক্টর স্পেসটাকে। ওটা তো মানে বেসিস ভেক্টরের ডেফিনিশন, ওটা তো কমপ্লিটনেস এর নয় মনে হয় ডেফিনিশন।
না, কিন্তু পরের প্রপার্টি গুলো তো বেসিস হলেই এটা হয়, মানে বেসিস হলে তো এটা করা যাবেই, ওটাই মানে বেসিস
হ্যাঁ
কাকে বলে সেটাই ভেঙে লিখেছে, পরের প্রপার্টিটাও তো
না,
ওটা তো
কিন্তু
বেসিস হলে যে কোনো ভেক্টরকে লেখা যাবে, ওটাই বলতে চাইছি,
হ্যাঁ
একই জিনিস
কিন্তু
লিখেছে।
না না, কিন্তু আমার মনে হয় কমপ্লিটনেস আলাদা একটা ডেফিনিশন আছে, আমার যতটা খেয়াল করছে, আমি খুব শিওর নই, কিন্তু মনে হয় আলাদা একটা ডেফিনিশন আছে কমপ্লিটনেস এর।
কমপ্লিটনেস এর তো সেটা মেট্রিক টোপোলজির ডেফিনেশন আছে,
হ্যাঁ
এইখানে কি আছে? ভেক্টর
অবশ্যই আছে,
স্পেসের
না না অবশ্যই আছে, কারণ এই হিলবার্ট স্পেসটা আলাদা একটা কমপ্লিট
আচ্ছা,
ভেক্টর স্পেস, কিছু একটা ডেফিনিশন আছে ওটার।
কমপ্লিট ভেক্টর স্পেস।
মানে অ্যাকচুয়ালি কমপ্লিট হতে হবে,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
কমপ্লিট
হ্যাঁ
এন্ড নট।
কমপ্লিট ভেক্টর স্পেস, কমপ্লিট মেট্রিক স্পেস দিচ্ছে।
কিছু একটা আলাদা একটা ডেফিনিশন আছে, আমার অতটা খেয়াল নেই, কিছু একটা আছে।
আচ্ছা, কমপ্লিটনেস অফ বেসিস। You can reach all. You can reach all possible directions of Hilbert space. এটা লিখেছে। It means that এত can be made up for these vector spaces.
উইকিপিডিয়াতে যেটা দেখাচ্ছে ওখানে বলছে একটা মেট্রিক স্পেসকে কমপ্লিট হতে গেলে কয়েকটা কন্ডিশন দিয়েছে, ওগুলোকে ফুলফিল করতে হবে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ওটাই দেখছি। না, স্ট্যাক এক্সচেঞ্জ এটা। ও এটা ওই দিয়েও করেছে, হিলবার্ট স্পেসে বলছে যে তোর ওই কসি সিকোয়েন্স কনভার্ট করবে, ওই জিনিসটা দিয়েও করেছে। মানে আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, এটা করতে পারে কসি সিকোয়েন্স কনভার্ট করবে বলতে যদি এমন কিছু ভেক্টরস নিচ্ছি প্রবাবলি যাদের মধ্যে ডিস্টেন্সটা যদি ওই এপসাইলন থেকে ছোট হতে শুরু করে, তাহলে একটা সময়ের পরে একটা কোনো পার্টিকুলার ভেক্টরে গিয়ে রিচ করবে, এটাই বলতে চাইছে হয়তো। না, স্ট্যাক এক্সচেঞ্জে একটা অ্যান্সার দেখাচ্ছে।
Oh, you can see now this.
হ্যাঁ
Can
দেখা
you
যাচ্ছে।
see? Okay, so then eraser.
ম্যাডাম বলছি ওই কমপ্লিটনেসটা এ বলছিল, সপ্তম বলছিল এই স্ট্যাক এক্সচেঞ্জে দেখলাম ওটা না ওই মানে মেট্রিক টোপোলজির যে কমপ্লিটনেস কশি সিকোয়েন্স কনভার্জ করে সেইটার সাথে কোনোভাবে কানেক্ট করেছে একটা অ্যান্সারে দেখছি।
হ্যাঁ, অ্যাকচুয়ালি হিলবার্ট স্পেস তো দেখো, হিলবার্ট স্পেসে অনেক কিছু আমিও জানি না। আমাদের কোয়ান্টামের জন্য যেটুকুন দরকার ওর কিছু
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
হ্যাঁ মানে হিলবার্ট স্পেস ইটসেলফ একটা সাবজেক্ট।
হুম হুম হুম।
হিলবার্ট স্পেস মানে তো তোমরা যদি স্টাডি করতে চাও ইউ ক্যান স্টাডি হিলবার্ট স্পেস, কিন্তু হিলবার্ট স্পেসে কিছু প্রপার অ্যাকচুয়ালি কোয়ান্টামের যে কিউবিট গুলো সেগুলোকে যখন আমরা ম্যাথমেটিক্যালি ডিফাইন করব, when we define the mathematically the qubits, হয়ে গেছে। এই পেনটা কাজ করছিল না, আচ্ছা এইটা দিয়েই করবো। তো ড্র আছে, এটাতে অ্যাডোবে ইয়ে করা নেই, ইনস্টল করা নেই। যার ফলে অসুবিধা হচ্ছে। নেই, তো আমি এটা দিয়ে পড়াচ্ছি এই মাইক্রোসফট এজ দিয়ে। তাতে যেটা অসুবিধা হচ্ছে, এখান থেকে পেন চুজ থাকলে এইখানকার যে অপশনটা দেখুন, এই যে পেনটা চুজ করলাম তো এখান যে লেখাগুলো লিখছি সেগুলো এখানে লেখা যাচ্ছে। হ্যাঁ, তাহলে আমাকে এটা যেটা চুজ করতে হচ্ছে সেটা হচ্ছে এখান থেকে, এই যে ড্র থেকে। ড্র এলো না কেন? এবং দিস সিরিজ একটুখানি আপনারা বলবেন একটু অ্যাডোবেটা যদি এই পড়তে ইনস্টল করলে তাহলে সুবিধা হয় আমাদের। Okay, so where we are? Again, this is not moving upwards. This is very slow. Touch screen also. Okay. এটা ছড়াতেই পাচ্ছি না গো। এটা একটা অসুবিধা শেষ হয় তো আরেকটা অসুবিধা শুরু হয়। Then এই বিভাস কি করে ওঠাবো বলো তো? উঠছেই না, কখনো উঠছে কখনো উঠছে না, এর কারণটা কি?
আপনার কি ওই ইরেজটা সিলেক্ট হয়ে রয়েছে?
না মানে কিছুটা উঠছে, কিছুটা কি হয়েছে, ইরেজটা সিলেক্ট, ওকে
মনে হচ্ছে ওটা জন্য একবার, হ্যাঁ ওটা একবার চেষ্টা করুন।
Thank you. Okay, so this is classical bit 0 and 1. So the quantum part of classical bit 0 is qubit 0, and quantum counterpart of classical bit 1 is qubit 1. Now you can see, no?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So, and this symbol is called Kate symbol. The students from RK Mission, they are physics students, so they know this symbol, Kate. Am I right? MSc students, they are here. Or,
Yes.
so this represent, actually this is called Dirac symbol, Dirac case symbol. So what this symbol represent? This represent a column vector, and the elements of the column vector might be some complex number also. And this symbol is called bra. This is the row vector. If this is some symbol, say psi, so this means this is the column vector for psi. So we represents all the elements which form this psi here. And if we write psi here, psi is some symbol. So then this represent the complex conjugate of this number here, the complex conjugate of those numbers here. So this is Kate and bra notation. This is called Dirac notation. Dirac introduced this notation, that is why this is called Dirac Kate symbol and Dirac bra symbol. So the classical quantum counterpart of classical bit 0 is quantum bit 0, and classical bit 1 is quantum bit or qubit 1. And physically, how we can realize these things? We will choose some support, say photon, physical support, say photon, and we have to choose the degree, some degree of freedom of that physical support. Here we choose polarization. If we choose polarization, then by horizontal polarization we can, but this Kate 0 can be represented by this horizontal polarization of photon, and this one can be represented by the vertical polarization of photon. If we choose the circular polarized light, circular polarization, then this 0 can be represented by L, left-handed polarized light, and 1 can be represented by right-handed polarized light. And in that case, horizontal and vertical polarized light will be in different form. So those we will discuss later. And if we choose electrons for physical support, then we have to choose some degree of freedom of electron. And we know that 1 degree of freedom electron is spin. And there are 2 spin, up spin and down spin, and those are actually orthogonal. If we represent up spin by some vector and down spin by some vector, then if we take the dot product between them, we will get 0. So that is why we are taking this spin and up spin and down spin, and this up spin will be represented by 0, and this down spin will be represented by 1. And this 0 and 1 form one of the basis of qubit. So this 0 and 1 form one of the basis for a qubit system. So why this? Because this 0 and 1 are orthogonal to each other. If we take the dot product of this 0 and 1, we will get 0. So these 0 and 1 are orthogonal to each other, and that is why we have to choose horizontal vertical polarization, up and down spin, so like that. So we first when we like to visualize this abstract thing 0 and 1 in physical things, then we have to choose some support photon and this polarization. We have to choose the degree of freedom in such a way so that we can get 2 degree of freedom, which will be orthogonal to each other. And if this is for electron also, this is the case. Now we already mentioned that the Dirac rotation, this gate can be represented by column vector. So for 0, 0 can be represented. For 0, the column vector is this 1, 0, and for 1, the column vector is this 0 and 1. The unique property of a qubit, that it can be written as the superposition of 0 and 1, and this comes from the thing that in Hilbert space, if we consider some basis which contains the orthonormal vectors, then we can form any vector which belongs to that Hilbert space from that orthonormal vector, and that is why any qubit can be written in the terms of 0 and 1, because 0 and 1 forms a basis. So 0 and 1 are orthogonal to each other, and they are actually, if you take the norm of this 0 and 1, you will get 1. So those are orthonormal to each other, and that is why we can write any vector in two-dimensional Hilbert space by this 0 and 1. And this alpha and beta are the complex number. This comes from, if we take, if this is x, so if this is x, then alpha will be the dot product between x and 0, and beta will be the dot product between x and 1. Clear? So that is why this unique property. This unique property actually comes from the property of Hilbert space. So in Hilbert space, if we define some basis, then with that basis vectors, we can express any of the vectors in Hilbert space. Here we define the basis as 0 and 1. So 0 and 1. That is why we can represent any vectors of this Hilbert space by the combination of these two, 0 and 1. And what is alpha? Alpha actually the dot product between this x vector and 0 vector, and beta is the dot product between x vector and 1 vector. And as all those vectors are orthonormal, so this condition must hold. Mod beta square plus mod beta square must be equal to 1. Hence we can say that 0, 1 form a basis of the Hilbert space of dimension 2. And why dimension 2? Because this basis, this is a complete basis. So this basis contains only 2 vectors, and these vectors are linearly independent to each other. So there are 2 vectors, and that is the dimension of that this Hilbert space is 2. If we can form some basis with 3 vectors, suppose 0, 1, and 2. We will see that there are some Hilbert space, and then the dimension will be 3. If we construct the basis for some Hilbert space by 0, 1, 2, 3, then the dimension will be 4. So in that way, so how many vectors are in the basis decides the dimension of the Hilbert space. So clear? Any questions? Kushankur, Saptam, or anyone?
No, madam, it's fine.
Then block sphere representation. A qubit can be represented by a point on the block sphere. What is block sphere? This is a unit radius sphere. So this is a 0 qubit. This is the 0 qubit, and this is the 1 qubit. So two polar point, one represent 0 and one represent 1. So these are two polar points, and any qubit, this is chi. Any qubit will be a point on the block sphere. And this chi, this is the theta, and this is phi. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, this is z-axis. And 0 is along z-axis. 1 is along minus z-axis. So this is the block sphere, and on the block sphere, any point on the block sphere represents a qubit. Then we know that any qubit can be written in this way: alpha 0, alpha 0 plus beta 1, and alpha beta are complex number, and mod alpha square plus mod beta square equal to 1. So alpha is a complex number. So alpha can be written in this way: x plus iy. X and y are real. Now using polar coordinate, we can write x as r cos theta and y as r sin theta. We know that r is the modulus and theta is the principal argument of the complex number alpha. Thus in polar coordinate, we can write alpha as this: alpha equal to r cos theta plus I sin theta, or we can write this using Euler identity. We can write alpha equal to r e to the power I theta. Thus a qubit can be written as in this form. This is alpha. So for alpha I use r alpha e to the power I theta alpha. This represent alpha. This represent alpha, and this represent beta. That is why I use this beta, subscript beta. So if we take e to the power I theta common, then what happens? R alpha 0 plus r beta e to the power, this is only mathematics, e to the power I theta beta minus theta alpha. We assume theta alpha minus theta beta as theta. So we can write this e to the power I theta alpha, r alpha 0 plus r beta e to the power I theta 1. Let r alpha equal to z, r e to the power I theta equal to x plus iy for some r x y z real number. Then chi can be written in this form: e to the power I theta alpha z 0 plus x plus I y 1. Again we know that mod alpha square plus mod beta square equal to 1. So from that you can write this: mod z square plus mod x plus iy square must be equal to 1. Or we can write as x y z are real number, so we can write x square plus x square plus y square equal to 1, which is equation of a unit sphere with Cartesian coordinate x, y, z, and that is why the block sphere is a is a unit sphere. The Cartesian coordinate of any point on the block sphere can be expressed in this way. You know that x. So actually r sine theta by 2 cos phi, but here r is 1. This is unit sphere, so r is 1. So I omit r. So x equal to I sine theta by 2 cos phi, y equal to sine theta by 2 sin phi, z equal to cos theta by 2. This is our school mathematics. So a qubit can be written in this way: e to the power I theta alpha cos theta by 2 0 plus sin theta by 2 cos phi plus I sin phi 1, which can be written in this form also: cos theta by 2 0 plus sin theta by 2, and this is e to the power I phi 1. So this is the general form. You are only so this is the general form of a qubit.
Madam, essentially এটাই বোধহয় there was 4 variables, right? So there was one constant that reduced the degree of freedom to 3D space, right?
Yes, yes. Actually 4. This
হ্যাঁ actually 4 ওই কনস্ট্যান্টের জন্য একটা বোধহয় কমে গেল।
and that is why many points, many qubits are mapped into a single point on the block sphere. And for that there is no problem actually, because we are concerned about so this expression e to the power I this expression actually e to the power I theta alpha has no effect on measurement, and after measurement we can do all the things in quantum domain. So measurement is the important part. Without measurement we can't do anything. So this portion e to the power I theta alpha has no effect on measurement. Hence we can omit that, and we can express the qubit as this: cos theta by 2 0 plus e to the power I phi sin theta by 2. So we omit one parameter, and that is why many qubits. So if we consider this, so what will happen there? So we can write one qubit like this. So you can choose the value of theta alpha something, say theta alpha equal to theta 1. This represent one qubit, psi 1 I theta 1, and this all the other parameters are same. Then psi 2 different qubit. Suppose now in case of psi 2 theta alpha equal to theta 2. So psi 1 and psi 2 are different qubit. In that way, you can construct infinite number of different qubits. But if you omit this part, then all those qubits will be mapped to a single point. So from this, it is clear that an infinite number of qubits are mapped to a single point on the block sphere. In other words, a point on the block sphere may represent infinite many qubits. Note that the north pole with theta equal to 0 and phi equal to 0 represent the state 0. I pointed out earlier, and similarly the south pole with theta equal to pi and phi equal to 0 represent the state 1. The points on the surface of the block sphere represents the pure state, and there is another kind of state which we will call mixed state, that we will discuss later. Today we won't discuss about mixed state, but we will discuss this when we will read QKD, quantum pre-distribution protocol, or quantum secret sharing protocol. In that case, mixed state will come, and that time we will read this mixed state. So till now we are concentrating on pure state, and pure state is the point on the surface of the block sphere. So pure state always lies on the surface of the block sphere, and mixed state will lie inside the block sphere, but we will discuss that later. So up to this, any confusion? Anyone, any questions?
Madam, can you again discuss the pure state and the mixed state?
These states, this psi, when we represent a state like this, psi equal to cos theta by 2 0 plus e to the power I phi sin theta by 2 1. So when we express the state in this way, this is called pure states. Actually, more easily. So if you can describe a state by a column vector, so if you can here, you can describe this state in this way: cos theta by 2 e to the power I phi sin theta by 2. So this is a 2 cross 1 column vector. So until you can describe any state, suppose I give you some states and you can describe the states in this column vector form, then the state will be called pure states. But there are some states which cannot be represented by this column vector. There are some states, we will discuss that later. Suppose 0, 0 plus 1, 1 by 2. So to represent this is also a state. So for representing these states, you need matrix. These states can be represented by some matrix, 2 cross 2 matrix. So these states is called mixed state, and this state is called pure states. So any state, if you can represent the state by a column vector, that must be pure state. And if you have any state which you can't represent by column vector but by a matrix form, then that will be mixed state. So this is the easier way, informal way to distinguish between pure state and mixed state. Pure state always lie on the outer surface of the Bloch sphere, and mixed state will always lie in the inner surface of the Bloch sphere. Anything else?
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay, so again, qubit. So why this is superposition? Now we can clearly understand why qubit can be expressed as the superposition of 0 and 1. If you form the basis like this in 2 qubit system in 2 dimension, you can form a basis like this also. Plus this is a state, and this is another state. These two states also, so this plus states is actually what? This can be written in this way: 1 by root 2, 0 plus 1, and minus state is actually 1 by root 2, 0 minus 1. And if you take the inner product between these two states, that means plus and minus, then you will get 0. So these two also form a basis. And you can represent this alpha 0 plus alpha 0 plus beta 1. This you can represent in this form also, the superposition of plus, but because this is also a basis. So these states can be written by this plus and minus. How? So alpha, this 0 can be written in this way: plus minus by root 2. Why? Take the plus addition here. So this 0 0 and this 1 1 cancels out. So you will get 2 by root 2 0. So root 2 0. So 0 can be written as plus minus by root 2, plus beta can be written as plus minus by root 2. So simplifying, what we will get? Alpha plus beta by root 2 plus alpha minus beta by root 2 minus. So this is the representation of the same qubit alpha 0 plus beta 1, but with another basis vector plus and minus. In that way you can represent the qubit alpha 0 plus beta 1 in infinite many way. So you the condition is you have to select a basis, and that basis will contain two orthonormal states, because we are dealing with two-dimensional space, so the basis will contain only two orthonormal vectors, and you can express any qubit in the terms of that basis vector. Can I make it clear to you? Anyone, please interact. Otherwise, I couldn't understand whether you are getting it or not. So please interact. If you
Yes,
don't
it's
like,
fine.
if you don't like it, then also you please tell me. But otherwise, I can't feel whether you are getting or not. So this is the case of qubit and basis. So example, 1 plus I by 2, 0 plus 1 by root 2, 1. This is a qubit because mod alpha square equal to half and mod beta square equal to half and mod alpha square plus mod beta square equal to 1. And here also, if you take this mod alpha plus beta by root 2 mod square, then also you will and plus alpha minus beta by root 2 mod square, then also you will get that this also will give you 1. So this condition will always satisfy. So the summation of the coefficient of the basis vectors must give you 1. Information content in a qubit. One may theoretically pack infinite amount of information in a single qubit. How? Because we can express alpha and beta by infinite number of bits. So in that way, we can pack infinite number of information in a single qubit inside alpha and beta, and which is not possible in quantum classical domain. So this is one example of quantum advantage or quantum supremacy, whatever you call. So in quantum domain, a single qubit may contain huge information compared to a bit. It is not clear how to extract such information. We will discuss that later. In actual implementation of quantum circuit, it might not be possible to perfectly create a qubit for any alpha and beta. Technology is still early stage. Okay, so we will skip this. So if a quantum system consists of more than one qubit, then the system is called multi-qubit system. That is, for 2 qubits, this is 2 qubit system. For 3 qubits, this is 3 qubit system. For 4 qubits, this is 4 qubit system, and so on. In this case, the dimension of the resultant Hilbert space increases exponentially with the number of qubits. What that means? That means that if we are dealing with 2 qubits, then the dimension will be 4. If we are dealing with 3 qubits, the dimension will be 8 to the power 3. If we are dealing with 4 qubits, then the dimension becomes 16 to the power 4. So dimension will increase with the exponentially with the number of particles. That means in case of 2 qubit system, we will get 4 linearly independent 4 cross 1 column vectors which can be expressed. So this is also one basis of 2 qubit system. So 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1, and these also can be written in this way also. So 2 qubit, and we already learned that 0 and 1 is a basis vector basis of for a qubit. So this 0 1, if we take the tensor product, so this is for one qubit and this is for another qubit. We are dealing with 2 qubit system, and this is the basis for one qubit and this is the basis for other qubit. Then take the tensor product. So what it will give? 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1, and this actually gives you these vectors. So tensor product between two different bases give you the basis vectors for the resultant Hilbert space. Okay. Any confusion? Can I make it clear? Is it clear to you? Is it clear? So we are dealing with 2 qubits. For one qubit, the basis is 0 1, and for other qubit, the basis is 0 1. Then when we consider this 2 qubit system, the basis will be tensor product of the two bases. So 0 1 one basis and 0 1 other basis. That is why we are getting this 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1, this vector. The symbol this is called tensor product. The symbol this is called actually tensor product operation. In mathematics, it is commonly known as Kronecker product. So what is the tensor product? I think MSc physics students, they already know what is tensor product. Do you know what is tensor product?
Yeah, we know.
And anyone who don't know tensor product, my TCG students, they already know what is tensor product, but because the last semester we learned that. But anyone, Swami Naidu and other, Bhargaraj or
Just what I know.
okay. And Bhargaraj and Amit?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so what is tensor product? Suppose this is a matrix or vector, or matrix, I think. A. So these are the element A11, A12, A22, A21, A22, and other matrix B, B11, B12, B21, B22. If we try to get the tensor product between A and B, so what will happen? So first element of A, that is A11, and the whole matrix B, that is B11, B12, B21, B22. First, the second element of A, that is A12, and the whole matrix B. Second row, first element of A and the whole matrix B. Second element of A and the whole matrix B. So what is happening here? B contains 4 elements. So this is actually 2 cross 2 matrix. So here 2 cross 2 matrix, here 2 cross 2 matrix, here 2 cross 2 matrix, here 2 cross 2 matrix. And when you unfold it, you will get this becomes 4 cross 4 matrix. So just try. It's just search for Kronecker product or tensor product. You will get the idea. So this is the initial idea. So A tensor B will be this. So the first matrix for the elements will be multiplied by the second matrix. So here also the column vector is alpha 1 beta 1. So this is a 2 qubit system. 1 qubit is alpha 1 0 plus beta 1 1 and alpha 2 0 plus beta 2 1, 2 independent qubit. This is 1 qubit and this is 1 qubit. We are taking the tensor product between these. So this qubit can be written in this form, alpha 1 beta 1. This is the vector representation of alpha 1 0 plus beta 1 1. And this is the vector representation of alpha 2 0 plus beta 2 1. So if we take the tensor product, then what will happen? First matrix, first element, and the second matrix, total second matrix. First matrix, second element, and the total second matrix. So we will get alpha 1 alpha 2, alpha 1 beta 2, beta 1 alpha 2, beta 1 beta 2. This can be written in this form, alpha 1 alpha 2, then this vector 1 0 0 0, alpha 1 beta 2, this vector 0 1 0 0, beta 1 alpha 2 0 0 1 0, beta 1 beta 2 0 0 0 1. This vector 1 0 0 0 can be written 0 tensor 0. So 0 qubit tensor 0 qubit. How? 0, this 0, the vector representation of 0 is 1 0 and the vector representation of 0 is 1 0 and we are taking the tensor product. So what will happen? This 1 and this 1 0 whole matrix. So 1 0. This 0 and this whole matrix 1 0. So this will be 0. This vector 0 1 0 1 can be built from taking the tensor product between 0 and 1. 0 qubit and 1 qubit. This vector 0 0 1 0 can be constructed from taking the tensor product between 1 and 0. And this 0 0 0 1 can be constructed from taking the tensor product of 1 and 1. You please just check. The new students who are not familiar with tensor product, please check whether this 1 0 0 0 can be written as the tensor product of 0 0 0 1 0 0 can be written as the tensor product of 0 1 0 0 1 0 can be written as the tensor product of 1 0 0 0 0 1 can be written as the tensor product of 1 0. So please check. So this is one example of 2 qubit system. I will take a 5 minutes class, then I will finish for today. Now n qubit state can be written as the tensor product of n different qubits. So x0 tensor x1 up to x minus 1. If xi belongs to 0 1, then the resultant state can be expressed by 2 to the power n cross 1 matrix. For example, suppose x0 and x1. So x0 and x1 can be 0 or 1. So we will get 4 options. One is 0 0, another is 0 1, another is 1 0, and another is 1 1. Now the quick, if you are given some n qubit state, then and you are told to write the vector representation of that state, then how can you do that? So the quick strategy is that consider these states. Consider these states that calculate the bit value of the states. So 0 0. So if you consider this 0 0 at bit, so what will be the integer value of this bit? 0. So put 1 at that position. So this is 0th position. This is 0th position. This is 0th position. This is first position. This is second position. This is third position. And the integer value of 0 0 is 0. So put 1 at that position. So 0th position, we are putting 0, we are putting 1 and all other 0. And this is 2 qubit system, so the dimension must be 4, 2 square, so dimension must be 4. So this state can be written as 4 cross 1 matrix. We already know that. And how can we represent that? Without calculating the tensor product. So 0, 0 means the integer value is 0. So put 1 at the 0th position, and for all other position put 0. 0, 1, the integer value of 0, 1 is 1. So put 1 in the first position and fill all other position by 0. 1, 0, the integer value is 2. So put 1 in the second position, 0, 1, 2, 2 at second position, and fill all other positions by 0. 1, 1, the integer value is 3. So third position is filled by 1 and all positions are filled by 0. So this is a quick strategy how, if we are given some n-bit n-qubit system and we are asked to represent that system by a vector, then how can we do that? Without taking the tensor product, we can do that. So please tell me quickly. So 1, 0, 1. What is the vector representation for this state? Anyone? Please tell me very quickly.
সিক্স পজিশনটায় বোধহয় 1 হবে আর 0 হবে, বাকি আটটা হবে।
And what will be the size of this vector?
ম্যাডাম 8 ডাইমেনশন বোধহয়, এটা 8 cross
8 cross 6.
నువ్వు ఆలోచించుకుని నాకు చెప్పు, నేను చెప్తాను అని చెప్పాను. అంటే మరి వాళ్ళు ఇంటికి దిగనియు, ఈలోపు వాళ్ళతో మాట్లాడుతాను అన్నారు. ఆడు బాగా అడిగాడు.
ఎస్ మేడం.
అడిగితే నేను ఈ రోజేమో బయటకు వచ్చా రాత్రి నిన్న.
So someone speaking, okay. Someone speaking in Telugu, no? Okay, so 101, so the integer value of this 101 is this is
50% is
this is 5. So we start from 0th position. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And okay, so this will be the vector representation. So Amiraido, will you please mute your mic? So this will be the vector representation of 0, 1, 0. So the integer value of 0, 1, 0 is 5. So we start from 0th position. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this 0, 0. So this will be the vector representation of this. We are not taking any tensor product. If you take the tensor product, you will get the same. You can check. Taking the tensor product between 1, 0 and 1, you will get the same vector. So this is a quick strategy. Then, okay, so d-dimensional quantum state is represented by d-dimensional Hilbert space. Generally, a d-dimensional state is called QD. We will read that. In case of quantum distribution, this QD thing will come. Physically, the dimension depends on the choice of the degree of freedom of the quantum particle. Here, for qubit, our physical support is photon, and we are choosing either polarization or spin, because if we choose polarization, we can get two orthonormal vector. Actually, orthogonal vector, then we will normalize that. So we can take, we can get two orthogonal vectors. If we consider electron and its spin, we can get two orthogonal vectors. One represent up spin and another represent down spin. So qubit, for qubit, this is fine, two-dimensional, and for basis representation, polarization degree of freedom or spin degree of freedom is fine. But if we think about for higher dimension, then we have to choose other degree of freedom along with this polarization or spin degree of freedom. So for higher dimension, along with the polarization in case of photon or spin in case of electron, we have to consider other degree of freedom. One example, for higher dimension, we are actually generally choose orbital angular momentum. So for this course, this is not important. This is only for letting you know how we can construct higher dimensional quantum state in physical domain. So how we can realize higher dimensional quantum state. So actually, considering other degree of freedom, we can visualize, we can realize the higher dimensional quantum state. For some dimension, we have some specific names. For example, for dimension 3, we will say the quantum state, the name of the quantum state is Q3. For dimension 2, we know the name of the quantum state is qubit. And until now, we are dealing with qubit. So we are familiar with qubit, but not qubit. So for higher the dimension 3, we will call the quantum state as qubit. For dimension D, for dimension 4, we will call the quantum state as what? Q-quart, and so on. In case of qubit, one set of basis vector is this 0, 1, and 2. In qubit, 0 can be represented by 1, 0, 0, this vector. 1 can be represented by 0, 1, 0, this vector, and this will be 2. Okay, this is typo. So this will be 2. These 2 can be represented by 0, 0, 1 vector. So these are 3 linearly independent orthonormal vector which form one set of basis for Hilbert space of dimension 3. So from the Hilbert space property, we know that any Q-trit can be written as the superposition of these 0, 1, and 2, and the general form of the Q-trit is this: cos gamma 1 0 plus sin gamma 1 cos gamma 1 e to the power I delta 1 sin gamma 1 sin gamma 2 e to the power I phi 2, where delta and phi varies between 0 and 2 pi, and gamma 1 gamma 2 varies between 0 and pi by 2. So this is the most general form of a Q-trit when we express those in the basis 0, 1, and 2. Now entanglement. So we will, I think we should stop now. We will discuss entanglement and other super dense coding operators, then quantum gates, quantum circuits. So next class. So for this class, I think this is enough. We should stop now. So what is your views? Should we stop now or we will continue? Actually, for TCG students, from 2 p.m. there is another class. So I think we should stop now.
Okay, stop. Okay, stop.
So any questions up to this? Any questions, any confusion, anything? Swami Naidu, are you speaking something?
No, it's clear and everything is understandable. Not a problem.
Okay. Others?
Madam, what about superposition? Discuss next class, madam. Superposition.
Superposition. Today's class also I discussed about superposition. No?
Okay, madam, but detailed thing, I think.
superposition, I can't understand what you are trying to convey. So what superposition? This is superposition, no? The alpha 0 plus beta 1.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay. This is okay, ma'am.
anyone, Bibhash, Kushankur, Swarnodip, Saptam, everything is fine?
Yeah, it is fine for me.
Okay. And RK Mission students, everything is fine? Ramkisha Mission students.
Yeah, fine. Everything is fine.
Okay, so tonight or tomorrow we will send the slides up to this class, and we will meet again on Friday. So okay, so Friday we will discuss entanglement, quantum gates, quantum circuits, and if time permits, then teleportation and supertensor.
Okay, ma'am.